What's going on, everyone? So, Friday the 13th has just been essentially stuck in purgatory, specifically Jason Voorhees. And the last movie we got was in 2009. Camp Crystal Lake is like on, off again, on again. Right? We'll see if that ever even comes out. Supposedly they're trying to do some type of projects. They want to get some movie done. There's been several kind of rumors that have came out the last like handful of years about, doing like a prequel movie or do this movie, and one person owns the rights to Jason and one person owns the rights to the name. And it's an absolute mess. It's a dumpster fire. And it's one of those things that feel like, are we ever going to actually get a Friday the 13th movie? Especially in an age where like it's all about remakes and nostalgia and all these legacy sequels and requels and stuff, and it's just the two arguably biggest ever outside of like Halloween, right? And Michael Myers is Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees, and those are the two films that we haven't gotten yet. It's really odd that those are the two, most iconic, and yet nothing, right? Like I hope sooner, the horror fan in me hopes for it. Now, look, I don't want some like, god-awful trash movie. I mean, like, we're being honest, the Friday 13th films aren't really like, they're not the most, Oscar-worthy style of films ever, but they're fun. You love them, right? If you're a horror fan, you love, even the bad ones, you're like, these are great. Jason X, pretend like you don't. You know that you watch that movie every Friday night, and that movie is just like always holds a special place in your heart, right? That Jason X is low-key the best Jason movie in the entire franchise. But no, in all seriousness, right? Like, it would be nice to get something, in the next few years and maybe launch this, right? Obviously, Camp Crystal Lake. Hopefully that series comes through, and then that can be good. And we're still waiting to find out what are they going to do with Friday the 13th. Problem with that is just, the sequel the remake that came out, right? It's tough because Robert Englund is Freddy, right? At least with Jason, it's just whoever's big, giant, and massive under the hockey mask, right? There's been several people that have played Jason. Now, obviously, Kane Hodder, but there's been several people that have played the Jason character in various films. However, we may be able to get a new Friday the 13th film because Damien Leone apparently wants to direct a Friday the 13th remake. So this is from Horror Universal. Terrifier director wants to helm Friday the 13th remake. Damien Leone wants to make a bloodier and scary version of the entire franchise. Look, Damien Leone, he's hot right now, right? Because just had the success of the Terrifier franchise, is really building and growing that. He's working on, another Terrifier. We're getting another film. I mean, he's talks about like, oh, this could be the last one. Maybe there's one more. I mean, Damien Leone has said like, look, he doesn't really know yet. He has a story, he has what he wants to do kind of in mind. I'm sure he wants to venture out and experiment and try other things. I do think if he has the opportunity to do a Friday the 13th film, I do think that, he'll probably wrap up the Terrifier franchise and go jump into that. Like, how could you not? To get that opportunity to finally bring that franchise back off the ground and maybe get like a new trilogy or something like that with that. Honestly, like, I wouldn't hate it, right? Like, Jason in particular is one of those guys. Like, Damien Leone with like Freddy and Jason could be interesting. I kind of lean to like which one would I prefer him to do, but Jason's probably the right answer, right? Because he gets that like campy horror slasher type film, right? He gets it, he understands it, right? Like that. He just had success with the Terrifier franchises, the practical effects. He's been able to do more with less than anybody in recent years, right? Like, so I do, and I could see him kind of getting the opportunity to helm that and actually knocking it out of the park. Like, I could see him getting the opportunity to maybe makes and create something with Jason and the Friday the 13th franchise. I don't want Friday the 13th to be like over the top gory though, right? Like, I don't mind. Like, I'm not one of those people like Terrifier, stuff like that. It's fine. I'm okay with that, right? It's just Friday the 13th in particular. Obviously, I'm all for it being blood and gory, and it's always been a bit brutal and over the top. But like, I don't want it to be the gore, the P word, right? Like, or like the torture P word, right? Like, I don't want it to be like that, hostile and stuff, like things. I want it to be within reason, right? Like, obviously I'd love, somebody gets their head taken off, right? Buckets of, craziness, right? Like, but I don't know, like, Jason's kind of just like kill you and go, right? Where with Terrifier, Art likes to play and toy and mess and have somebody walk in and see his art, right? It's in his name, right? Art, right? So you can kind of do certain things, right? Jason's kind of just more like, you're in his way, get out of my way type thing, and just taking people out. So, I'm all for a bloody, gory Friday the 13th film. Like, without a doubt, I'd be all for that. I just don't want it to be too over the top, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just like my head. I wish I could just like show you my thoughts, because like I have like the vision of what I'd love to see, right? I do want blood and gore. I do want some awesome kills and some practical effects and Jason just knocking someone's head off and stuff like that, right? Like, sure, but I also don't want it to be Terrifier, if that makes sense, right? As far as like the gore goes. I love Terrifier. I'm all for the gore in Terrifier, but that's very specific, right? Like, that's what you go for. You know what to expect. You know what you're walking in, right? I mean, some of those Friday the 13th horror movies don't even have blood in it, right? Like, you don't even see blood and stuff, or people get their heads knocked off and there's, and you just see like the shadow of the head or whatever, right? Like, so, I want it to stay true to form. Like, I really liked the 2009. It could be biased. I'm a big Supernatural guy, and Jared Padalecki was in that one. So, I'll be the first to admit, there may have been a little bit of bias, but I thought, like, if you could do sort of a better modernized 2009 version, perfect, right? Little bloodier, little gorier, little, a couple more kills, a couple more epicness. But like that 2009 Friday the 13th, I enjoyed, right? Had its laughs. Jason ran, right? Like you had a story. It wasn't like a masterpiece or anything, but I think it was one of, like, as far as remakes go of horror franchises, I think that did its job. I thought that they were really good in that. I thought it did a very good job. And so, I wouldn't mind something like that, to where it's like, maybe just, like I said, a little, because you can get away with a little more now, some of the effects and stuff, just better, right? So, again, kind of like a modern, 2024's take on 2009's Friday the 13th, right? That, I think, would be cool. That, I think, could make some noise and get people excited. And, I don't really want to go like the prequel route or anything like that. Like the whole, the classic Friday the 13th, with Mrs. Voorhees, and she is the killer in the first one. And no, I don't want to do all that, right? To me, I'd rather, like, and that's something that I thought they did a good job in 2009, right? Like, they showed in the beginning credits that, the Mrs. Voorhees, and just got straight to Jason. Like, I'd want something like that. Like, just pick it up with Jason. I also wouldn't hate, like, a new story. Like, where Mrs. Voorhees, maybe he's not even involved at all, right? Like, you know, I know like diehard Friday the 13th people probably wouldn't like that. But I think, again, if you wanted to just do like, hey, here's a new story, sure. You know? But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of Damien Leone potentially doing a Friday the 13th movie? Do you think, no, absolutely not. Not the route they should go a different direction. You know, do you even want a new Friday the 13th movie? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it either way. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.